What's the brokest thing somebody ever did to you? I'll go first.
So, y'all won't believe this shit. So, I chill with this girl that I already knew. We done hung out a couple of times. Technically, I know she liked me, but, I ain't hitting it. She come over and say, hey, let's match. She end up coming, but don't have her own. So, basically, she just smoking off me. I'm new to smoking, so I can't even take a full beat. So, at about halfway, I'm like, okay, I'm tapping out. I'm good. We can add shit. She like, okay, cool. We finished talking or whatever, and then she go home. This is like midnight. She go home. Next day, I wake up looking for my shit. Tell me why she stole the rest of the blunt.
Ladies, stitch this. What's the brokest thing a man has ever done around you? I'll go first. This boy came to church with me because he wanted to impress me so bad. But then, when it was time to take the offering, he asked me to put money in a basket for him.
Alright, child, so the question is, ladies, what is the brokest thing a guy has ever done around you? Okay, so one time my friend had invited me out to go to this little party or whatever with her, like by her house or whatever. So we go to a party or whatever, and the guy that I'm talking to, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there or whatever. You talking about such and such little party, I'm gonna be there. So I'm like, alright, bet. So the whole time I'm there, like, hours go by, I don't see him or whatever, I don't hear from him or nothing. I texted him, like, hey, where you at, whatever the case may be. And my friend, like, all right, friend, like, it's getting late, you ready to go home or whatever? I'm like, yeah. So it's like 11 or 10 at night or whatever. So I'm finna call me a lift so I can go home, because I was just like, he's dead or whatever. My friend finna go to the house, I'm just finna go home. So the guy texts me, like, hey, where you at? I just came back over here or whatever. Like, I still want to see you. I still want to hang out. So I tell my friend, like, all right, friend, I'm going to just stay a little bit. And she like, you sure? Because I'm going to go to the house or whatever. You good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good or whatever, And she's like, call me if you need anything. I'll come back or whatever the case may be. Or I'm going to come outside or whatever, because she lived, like, right there. So I'm like, all right, I got you. So I'm with the guy or whatever. And we chilling. We hanging out. We vibing or whatever. But it get, like, midnight. Or like 12:30, something like that. And like the whole party is like, it's down and down. Everybody going home or whatever the case may be. I'm like, all right, then, yeah, I'm about to go home too. And I'm like, all right, you gonna call your peoples or whatever. But he was like, I came with my homie or whatever. Like, we got dropped off. I'm like, oh, okay. So his homie come. His homie like, like, what we finna do? How we finna get home or whatever. They don't stay too far. We stay on Watts. They stay in Compton. And they like, yeah, what we finna do? He like, I don't know, like, I'm finna see something or whatever. I'm like, why did you stay out so late if you don't have a ride home? He like, how you get home? I'm like, I'm about to call myself a Lyft or Uber. And he was like, oh, can you just Uber me and my homie to my house? He was like, you know what, nah, it's cool. Like, I ain't even gonna ask you or whatever, we'll just walk. I'm like, walk? You cannot walk from here to there. Like, what the fuck? And he was like, yeah, I don't even be asking people for shit, but can you just, like, Uber me there? So I was like, all right. So he tell his homie, like, come on, she gonna lift us or Uber us or whatever. And he like, all right, she gonna send me a lift to my house? And he like, no, dummy, like, you live right by me or whatever. I'll just put it to your house and I'll walk from there or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. What the fuck? It was crazy, dude. Like, I still didn't even take that as a red flag. I still ended up talking to him, bro.
Okay, so I seen this post that said, what's the brokest thing a nigga ever did to you? And I'm finna expose myself. And let me remind y'all that I was 18 years old. Never would I allow this shit now. So after hanging out with this dude, he's getting ready to drop me back off at home. And he's like, are you hungry? I'm like, yeah, I can eat. So he pulls up to Farmer Boys. Dude asked me what I want. I said breakfast burrito. He gets the same thing. He gets extra everything though. So we pull up to the window, and he looks at me and says, "For your card."
She's a very lovely person.
Where my card? Where my card? Where my card? I'm confused. Didn't you just ask me if I was hungry? And then not only that, you add extra shit on your shit. And you expect me to pay? I gave him my card though. And I'm so ashamed about it. But that's broke as fuck. Why would you do that?
And to this day, that same nigga be trying to spin the block. Boy, no! I will never fuck with you again.
So it wasn't exactly around me. I was not letting that man anywhere near me. Brokenness like that is contagious, I fear. 2 years ago, I matched with a man on Tinder, and we seemed to be hitting it off pretty well in the messages. About 2 hours into conversation, he says, "Can I ask you something, and promise you won't judge me?" I am a lot of things in this life, but I am not a liar. So I said, "You can ask me, but I cannot promise that I will not judge you." He says, "I like talking to you. You seem like a really nice person, and I'd like to get to know you better and perhaps build a relationship. But I'm staying with my grandmother right now, and she's kicking me out. Do you think that you could let me stay at your place for a couple days?" That confused look that you got on your face, that's exactly the one I had at that moment. Stay at my place? What kind of homosexual nonsense is this? I say, "No, I don't know you." He's like, "Well, we can get to know each other." Bitch, unmatched. Hope he's doing better, though.
Ladies, what's the brokest thing a guy has done to you on a date?
So a few years ago, I went on a date with this guy that I knew through mutual friends. I had known him for a few years. I was attracted to him. We had had like a little mild flirtation for years, but it just seemed like we were never single at the same time. So whatever, I decided that I would go on a date with him. So his first mistake was being like, "Hey, I would love to take you out sometime. Can I take you to dinner?" We have like been kind of texting. And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love that." And then he's like, "Okay, well, where do you want to go?" Bitch, I hate that. Little bit of advice for men. If you're going to ask a woman out on a date, like have enough initiative to be like, "I'm going to plan the date," or "I'm going to surprise you and take you to do this or take you to do that." I mean, it's fine if you ask her like, "What do you like to eat? What's your favorite food?" And then planning accordingly, but just being like, "Okay, well, where do you want to go?" Like, we don't want to plan the first date if you asked us out. That is ridiculous. So anyways, he took me to Jose Peppers, which it's like, that's fine. Like, I love Mexican food, whatever. And so we sit down, we order our margaritas, we have our food. And by the way, the whole time he's talking about his ex and how he cheated on her. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, why the fuck am I here? So then the waitress comes back and she's like, "Can I get you guys boxes? Are you guys ready for the check?" And he's like, "Let's do tequila shots." And I'm like, "All right, fuck it. I mean, we're at Jose Peppers, but whatever. Let's rip some shots." So we get tequila shots, and when she comes back, he's like, "And those are on separate tabs, the shots." And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, "Oh, I'm paying for myself." So then I'm like, wait a minute. Is this a date? Like, you're flirting with me. I don't understand this. Like, and I'm fine to pay for myself, but like, I don't know. It seemed weird to me. So whatever, I paid for myself. I was ready to go home after listening to him talk about his ex for an hour. Huge red flag. There were so many red flags, but whatever. So we get in the car and he drives me home. And this motherfucker has the audacity to get out of the car after I get out and thinks he's coming inside. Bitch, I just paid for my own dinner, my own tequila shot that I didn't even like because you got well tequila with your cheap ass that I had to pay for. And then you want to come inside with me? Oh, God, you got me so fucked up. Not only are you not getting any of this, but you're not getting a kiss. And I just hugged him and I said, "See ya, thanks for dinner, bye." To this day, he texts me and tries to get me to go out with him. And I'm just like, I'd rather go out by myself. I don't want to go out and listen to you talk about your ex that you're probably still in love with, that you cheated on, and then pay for my own dinner whenever you're trying to flirt with me. And then you try to get some at the end of the night. I'm good. Thanks, though.
Ladies, what is the brokest thing a guy has ever done around you?
So, I was dating this guy. We had went on several dates. He was cool. I liked him, whatever. But I was also, like, very busy at the time. And actually, I was in the process of moving. So, he had hit me up one day because we hadn't been able to see each other. And he was like, can I come see you? And I was like, I'm literally in the process of moving. Like, stacking, packing, loading, the whole nine. He was like, that's cool. Like, I just want to see you. And I was like, all right, you can come by. But I'm be working. So he ends up coming by, and literally I'm like running back and forth from the room, packing, stacking, loading, unloading, like I am moving. And this motherfucker, not only did he not help, like he just stood there like a lost puppy the whole time, but I ended up leaving because I had to go drop a load off. And I was like, all right, I'm about to leave. Like, you need to leave too. I'll see you later. He's like, all right, cool. So I went my separate way, went to separate way, whatever. I went back to the house because I was in the process of moving, so I had more stuff to do. And I had this big box of like the large, good, heavy duty black trash bag that I was using. and I couldn't find them motherfuckers anywhere. Like, I was looking all over, like, where are my trash bags? So I ended up hitting him up. Like, I texted him, like, yo, did you by chance see some black trash bags? Yo, why did he be like, oh, yeah, I took them. I thought everything you had left behind was, like, trash, so I took it. I'm like, sir, why would you take trash bags? Why would you take them? I don't understand.
Ladies, what is the brokest thing a guy has ever done around you?
Okay, so one time, this dude, I was messing with, he was a bum. Okay, anyways, I took him to the store to get him some cigarettes because he was like, I need some cigarettes. Can you take me to the store? And I'm like, yeah. So I took him to the store to get some cigarettes. And I don't know why I did because anyways. So I took him to the store and we pulled up at the store and I was waiting for him to get out of the car. And then he just looked at me. And I just looked at him. And he just looked at me. And I was like, so you going in the store? And he just looked at me and he was like, nah, I forgot my ID. And I was like, oh, do you want to go back and get it? Because the gas station was right around the corner from the house. And I was like, oh, you want to go back to get it? He was like, nah, you can go in. I'm like, okay, I'll go in for you. What do you want? He told me what he want. And he just looked at me. Then I just looked at him. And then he just looked at me. And I was like, so I'm supposed to be paying for your cigarettes? And he was like, I mean, yeah. And I was like, I mean, I don't support other people's habits, so I'm not doing that. And he wouldn't even offer me no gas money to take him to the gas station.